Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be walking you through on how to draft a basic body for a soap. Please kindly help me like this video, and if this is your first time on my channel, kindly help me subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you can be notified when I drop amazing contents like this one. Thank you. So these are the material we'll be needing in cutting out our basic body. We'll be needing our marker, our scissors, our ruler, our tape rule, and also our paper. And then the measurements we'll be needing in cutting our basic body out, we'll be needing our shoulder measurement, shoulder to nipple measurement, and also our shoulder to length measurement. So let's dive into the video. So the first thing we'll be doing is to measure half an inch at the tip of our paper. So I'll measure half an inch like this, and then I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line on it. So this will be serving as our starting point. After doing that, the next thing we'll be doing is to take our shoulder measurements. So for my shoulder, I'll be using 14 inches for my shoulder divided by 2. That will give me 7 inches. So I'll just place my tape under the straight line I made, and then I'll use my marker to mark it like that. So after that, I'll be taking my shoulder slope. So I'll be using 1 inches for my shoulder slope. From my starting point, I'll just place my tape rule like this on it and then measure 1 inches. So I'll just mark it there like this. After that, I'll use my ruler to connect the points to the shoulder line. I'll connect the points like this, the shoulder line. After doing that, the next thing we'll be doing is to take our shoulder to nipple measurements. So for my shoulder to nipple measurements, I'll be using 9 inches. So I'll just mark the 9 inches on my paper like this, and then I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line on that. After doing that, we'll be taking our armhole measurements. So for my armhole, I'll be using 6.5 inches for my armhole. So to get the measurement of your armhole, you can divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 inches, or you can come up from your bust points by 1.5 inches. So I came up from my bust points by 1.5 inches, so that gave me 6.5 inches. So I'll just make a mark there like that, and then I'll use my straight ruler to draw a straight line on that mark. So after doing that, from my shoulder slope, I'll just connect the point to my armhole line. I'll just use my ruler to draw a straight line on it like that. So the next thing to do is to take my bust measurements. For my bust, I'll be using 36 inches. So 36 divided by 4, I'll divide it by 4 like this. That will give me 9 inches. So that 9 inches, I'll place my tape rule on my armhole line like this, and then mark that 9 inches there. I'll mark it there like this. So the next thing is to go over to my armhole line. You know I have 6.5 inches there. I'll divide that 6.5 inches into 2. I'll fold my tape rule like that. So that will be for our midpoints. That will be the middle of our armhole line. I'll make a mark there like this. So from that point I made, I'll just go in by half an inch. I'll mark the half inches there like this. So I'll connect the points together. I'll connect my shoulder slope to the 9 inches I made at my armhole line. I'll connect the 3 points together like this. I'm supposed to use my armhole curve, but I don't have it here with me, so I'll just be using my hand to just make the curve like this, as you can see. After doing that, I'll go over to my armhole line like this. I'll go over to my armhole line and then remeasure what I have there. I have 9 inches there, so I'll place that same 9 inches on my bust points like this, and then mark it like that. So I'll be adding extra 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I'll add it on my armhole line too. I'll add 1.5 inches, and then I'll be taking my shoulder to length measurements. So for my length, I'll be using 16 inches for the length. So I'll make a mark there like that, and then I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line on the point I made. After taking the length measurements, next we'll be doing is to take our waist measurements. So for my waist, I'll be using 13 inches. I'll divide 13 inches by 4, so that will give me 7.5 inches. So I'll be placing that 7.5 inches on the straight line I made, and then mark it there like that. So I'll be adding extra 1 inches for the dart intake. I'll mark it there like that too. So from that side too, I'll be adding 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance. After doing that, I'll measure out my dart allowance. You know I added 1 inches for dart allowance. So to get my dart point, I'll divide my nipple to nipple into 2. That will give me 4 inches. So from that 4 inches, I'll be adding half inches by the sides like this. So that will be the dart allowance which I added. So from that point like that, I'll go up by 6 inches for the dart length. I'll mark it there like this, and then I'll use my ruler to connect the points together. I'll make a straight line. So from the first half inches, I'll connect it to that straight line. I'll connect it to it like this, and also the second point, I'll connect it to the straight line too. After that, I'll go over to my side measurements, and then I'll connect the points there together too. After doing that, I'll be taking my neck measurements. So for my neck width, I'll be using 3.5 inches, and then for my neck depth, I'll be using 3 inches. So I'll just make a mark there like that, and then I'll connect the marks together. So this is it for the front part of the body. We are done drafting it out like this, and the next thing to do is to just cut it out like this. So we'll be moving to the back parts. So for the back part, I've gone ahead to fold my paper, as you can see. So the first thing we'll be doing for the back part is to take our zipper measurements. So we'll be using 1.5 inches for the zipper measurements. We'll just mark 1.5 inches there like this, and then I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line on the points I made. After that, I'll be taking my shoulder measurements. For the shoulder measurements, I'll be using 7 inches. So I'll just mark the 7 inches there like this. And then I'll be taking my shoulder slope. I used 1 inches for the front part. I'll be using the same thing at the back part too. So I'll just connect the points to my shoulder line like this. So after that, I'll be taking my shoulder to nipple measurements. For my shoulder to nipple, I'll be using 9 inches. So I'll just use my ruler to also draw a straight line on that. I'll draw a straight line on the mark I made. After that, I'll go over to my shoulder slope and then measure 6.5 inches that I use at the front for my armhole line. So I'll just use my ruler to draw a straight line on the points I made. Also from my shoulder slope, I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line to join the points I made. I'll just draw a straight line like this. After that, I'll go over to my armhole line. So I'll be measuring my bust measurements. Now I divided my bust measurements into 4, and that gave me 9 inches. So I'll mark that same 9 inches on my armhole line like this, and then I'll add the 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance. So from the 9.5 inches I made, I'll just connect it to my armhole line like this. So I won't be going in by half an inch as I did at the front part. So I won't be doing that. So after that, I'll be taking the same measurements for my bust points. I'll add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance, and then I'll go over to take my top measurements. So for the top measurements, I used 16 inches for the front part. I'll be using 16 inches at the back part too. So I'll just mark the 16 inches there like this, and then I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line on it. After doing that, I'll be taking my waist measurements. For my waist measurements, I'll be using 7.5 inches. You know my waist measurements is 30 inches divided by 4. That gives me 7.5 inches. So I'll just mark 7.5 inches there. I'll add extra 1 inches for the darts allowance, and then I'll add 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance. So I'll be connecting the side points together like this. I'll connect my armhole line to my bust points, and then my bust points to my waist line. After that, I'll go over to my waistline to take my dart measurements. You know, to determine the points of my darts, I used 4 inches. So I'll mark the 4 inches there like that, and then I'll be adding extra half inches for the darts. So after that, I'll measure 6 inches for the darts length. I'll mark it there like this. After that, I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line on the points. So from the half inches, I'll connect it to the 6 inches like this. the other half inches I'll connect it to 6 inches like this too. After that, I'll be taking my neck measurements. So for my neck width, I'll be using 3.5 inches, and then I'll mark it there like this. So for the neck depth of the back, I'll be using 1 inches. I won't be using 3 inches as I did at the front parts. I'll be using 1 inches at the back. So I'll just connect the points together like this. After marking the points like this, I'll be cutting it out, and that's all for the back parts. And here we've come to the end of this tutorial. So I'll just label the back part for you to see, and this is the front part too. So if you have any question concerning this tutorial, you can ask me in the comment section. Kindly help me like this video, help me subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you can be notified when I drop amazing content like this one. Thank you. So as you can see, this is the back part, this is the front. Thanks for always watching my video. Thank you very much. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. I'm going to see you in my next one. Bye.